Irida furizar dirigia, irida furizar dirigia. Untuk kor boleh ada dah untuk kor ada di dah kor furizar dirigia. Irida furizar dirigia.
We've just arrived at this village, and as you can see from these fires, they've only just been lit. In fact, we bumped into the people who almost certainly lit them. Well, we only got to see a few areas of Mongdor. The extent of the destruction was staggering, though, and most of them were Muslim villages. Well, they call this place Lil Tanjore. It's quite close to the coast. This is one of the first places that the Rohingya militants attacked on August the 25th, setting off this spiral of violence that has led to so many Rohingyas fleeing from Rakhine State. And if you look all around me, this area has been completely burnt down, including, if you look just behind me, that was a clinic run by Médecins Sans Frontières. And the government's version of what happened here is that it was the militants themselves who set fire to everything here, destroying facilities that were shared by Muslims and some Buddhists here. Now, we can't confirm that, we can't speak to anyone, the place is completely deserted. As we've driven here, we've seen village after village that's completely deserted, abandoned boats, abandoned livestock, rice fields left. The few villages where there are people, there are only Buddhists who've been left here, have talked of immense fear of their Muslim neighbours. The only Muslims we've spoken to are inside Mongdor town itself. They're also extremely scared. When we asked them who you're most afraid of, they said the government. Of all the villages that have been burned down, have they all been burnt down by Muslim militants? Is that what we're saying? That all of them, 100%?
Okay, can we get up? Steve, can we get up?
We've just arrived at this village, and as you can see from these fires, they've only just been lit. In fact, we bumped into the people who almost certainly lit them, carrying machetes, not wanting to talk, though one did admit, yes, they set these buildings alight with the help of the police, their ethnic Rakhine. This was a Muslim village. Now, the government has claimed that all of the village destruction is at the hands of Muslim militants and Rohingya inhabitants. What we've seen here tells us a very different story, a story of ethnic cleansing, of driving Muslims out of this part of Myanmar.
Murtzia is just 2 days old. She's a child of the conflict. Her mother, Zura Khatun, gave birth to her daughter on the road as she fled to safety. Zura tells me she's had no help, no aid or medical care for her baby. This is what starvation does. It makes people desperate. In the melee, we see Shakeen. Her grandson does his best to protect the frail old woman, but all hell is breaking loose. She can barely stand unaided, 80 years old and exhausted by her long, difficult journey across the border. She struggles to speak but manages to tell me she saw her nephew killed and her home torched. Keeping order is impossible.
We've been here for a number of days now, and we've yet to see any big international aid organizations working here on the ground. I'm not saying they're not here, we just haven't seen any. So these people are totally dependent on local charities. Either that, or they'll just go hungry.
So it's left up to volunteers like Muhammad, who have no experience of dealing with a crisis of this enormity.
What do you want the international community to do?
We want to ask you, the international committee like NGO, everybody come here and help them. Because of nobody help them, they are very hungry and they are very helpless. So we request the NGOs people come here too and help them.
These people have been reduced to begging, fighting for scraps.